Alright, we're going to be going over arrays. This is part 1 of arrays, which will cover one-dimensional arrays. Our second video will be over two-dimensional arrays. Arrays are used to store multiple pieces of data into a single variable. So if you have 5 ages you had to store, you can put it in one variable. Important notes that you're gonna need to come back to periodically. These are just important things about arrays. Arrays can store primitives or objects. Arrays cannot be resized after they're created. Arrays store and access values based on indexes, locations where values are stored. Each value stored by an array is called an element. The first index, or the first location in an array, is at index 0. So we don't start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We start counting at 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last index is at the number of elements minus 1. Because if there's 3 items and we start counting at 0, we get 0, 1, 2. So how you access the final element in an array is the number of elements stored minus 1. When an array is created, its values will be initialized to 0 automatically for numbers, false, well, numbers are characters, false for booleans, and null for objects. It doesn't say it, but null for objects. So let me just write that in pen. So let me go grab a little pen, red, null for objects. So I'm going to be using the pen a lot in these slides. Not to correct things that I wrote, hopefully, but to show examples. One-dimensional arrays. One-dimensional arrays store data horizontally. An example of creating a one-dimensional array. You'll have whatever type, followed by bracket, bracket, then whatever you want to name your variable, equals new. You list the type again, and then a size. So if I wanted 5 different numbers to be stored in one variable, and they were going to be ints, I would say int for the type, bracket, bracket, meaning I want an array of integers. I might name it numbers. It equals a new array of integers that is 5 big, and that would have locations 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The format for creating a 1D array, if you already know what values you want it to hold, type, angle bracket, space, whatever you want to call the array, equals curly brace, value, comma, value, comma, value, comma, value, comma, value, till you're done, curly brace, semicolon. For example, if we wanted an array that held student names, we could say string, bracket, bracket, names, equals, curly brace, Joe, Bill, Jane. And in this example, Joe's going to be at location 0, Bill's going to be at location 1, and Jane is at location 3. Accessing the length of a 1D array. Whatever the name of the array is, dot length. So if we have that same example, names, and we have 0, 1, 2, a lot of people mess up and say, oh, the length is 2. The length is not 2. There's actually 3 items in that list. Here, Joe is 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 different items. Joe, Bill, Jane. There's 3 of them. So this would output 3, not 2. Their locations are 0, 1, 2. Accessing an element. Name, bracket, index. So again, if we have the same array, Joe is at 0, Bill is at 1, Jane is at 2, this would print names, bracket, 1, bracket. So what is in location 1? Bill. So its output would be Bill. If you want to change an element, it's just like accessing an element, but you say equal value. So again, if we have 0, 1, 2, and we say name shouldn't be capitalized, it should be a lowercase n, but if we say names, bracket, 1, bracket, and change Bill to Bobo, we'd cross that out, and now at location 1, we would have Bobo, and this would print Bobo because Bobo is now at 1. Bill is gone. If you want to print all the items in an array, we can do so with a for loop, just like we've done before, or we can write for loops similar to what we've done before. The format for that is for int x equals 0, x less than however many items there are, so name of your array dot length, x plus plus, system.out.print name x. The first time I'd print whatever's at spot 0, next time I'd print whatever's at spot 1, next time whatever's at spot 2, so forth till you made it through the entire list. Let's see an example of this. String bracket bracket names equals Joe, which is at location 0, Bill, which is at location 1, Jane, which is at location 2. So here if we write x equal 0, is x less than the length, which is 3? Yes. So we would do the for loop, and we would print whatever's at names x, so names 0, and that would print Joe. Then x would be changed by 1, increasing it to 1. Is 1 less than 3? Yes. So we would print Bill, because that is the value at location x, and x is a 1. Then x changes to a 2. Is 2 less than 3? Yes. So we print names 2, Jane. X changes to a 3. Is 3 less than 3? No. We're done. A for each loop. Now in this chapter, we've reached a new type of loop, a for each. The format for it is for parenthesis, type of the variable in the type of data in the array, space, a variable name of your choosing, colon, whatever your array is called. And then we're going to have code using that variable name. I'm going to show you an example, and this will make sense. String bracket bracket names equals Joe, Bill, Jane. So notice I say string s colon names. How this for loop is going to work, it's going to go through the array from start to finish. Each time the loop runs, s will be a different element from names. So the first time, it's going to grab the first item. So string s equals Joe, and then we print Joe. Then it comes back around and s changes to the next item, Bill. Then we come back around, s equals the third item, which is Jane. Then it comes back around and says, oh, there's no more items. I'm done. And the loop will stop.